Hello. You know, as life ebbs and flows and we go through the seasons and the years, we have different people that enter our life and exit our life sometimes, be it friends or partners, right? You meet people, you might be very close for a number of years even, and then something changes, maybe there's a falling out, or maybe just something changes, and then maybe you're not in touch with that person so much anymore, right? Many times, if there's an ending to a relationship, be it friendship or partner, one of the people, absolutely, if they're a narcissist, they're going to leave that relationship and talk about you badly, right? They're going to talk about you badly. When somebody says, oh, so how's Renee? Do you still see her? Boom, they're going to come into a big story of how awful I was. That's how a narcissist works. Again, be it an ex-friend or an ex-partner. I don't move around with that kind of energy. I've had relationships, I've had friendships that have left and whatever. I don't talk about them to another person at length in a smearing capacity like that. I let it go. I process it internally, make peace with it. I think everyone is in everyone's life. Maybe you were supposed to learn something from that relationship. I dissect it, as you can probably surmise. Look what I've done with this topic alone. My brain never stops ever. If you were in this mind for 24 hours, you would need a nap for 10 years. I overthink everything. So I usually try to dissect it, and then you get to a place of, you even can miss the person. There are people I miss in my life that are no longer in it. You remember the energy of a person, or laughter you had with that person, or, the way you got along when you were in each other's lives. And you can miss someone even if the relationship ended. No different than your narcissist. Don't let it freak you out. Don't let it freak you out. You may go through moments where you miss your narcissist. It might happen. It's natural. How can you not? You might have had good physical times that you can remember of laughter or dancing or whatever with the guy who had the mask on, my 5% guy, I call him, we all know by now. When he's being that good 5% guy, you might miss that. And then it got me to thinking, how could he not miss me? And I'll say me to represent all of us. You start to think, I would miss me. I'm a good person. The energy I brought in was good. There was laughter. I was insightful. We would have good conversations. And that means anybody, because if you're friends or a relationship with me, that's what we do. We laugh. We talk about things. You know what I mean? I know what I do. So I think to myself, I wouldn't miss me. Why wouldn't they miss me? And you wonder why you're still missing them. You're in disbelief if you're missing them, and you're in disbelief that they can't possibly be missing you. Because you know your life, and let's just say, I hope that you're in a position where you love yourself and love your life. I always say I have a happy, quiet, simple, little, fabulous life. I love my life. And I can't imagine anyone would not miss this life, right? Once they tasted it. Or miss my company. I'm an enjoyable human being. And if you don't think that way about yourself, that's the self-love on which I had to work and regain my strength and regain my footing on that regard. You need to too, but you should get to the place. You know your worth. And you think, how could they not miss me? Okay. So we wonder how they wouldn't miss us, how they would, and that's usually the very things, because you think it through. How does he not miss Minnie? How does he not miss, you might be saying, maybe there are parents he was close to, or children that you have, or whatever. Something you did around the house together. Maybe you live on a golf course, you'd hit the links together, whatever. You might be saying, how does he not miss this or that? Not that things are important, but you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about the general aura of what you experience together. Usually those things that you think of, how does he not miss that? those are the things they're going to use when they're love bombing you, when they get you on the phone or leave you a message, because they know that those things are what mean the most to you. For example, mine used to use Minnie. He would go through Minnie. Now, he was good to Minnie, even acted like he loved the dickens out of her. And no, he was never with her without me, I saw. But whatever, I'd like to think they could at least love animals and get some joy out of that. But either way, they use it to showcase, and whatever, like I said, your parents, your kids, to behave well. They'll be extra good, and that is what you're missing. That is why you can't believe that they aren't missing it, because they were so good to whatever thing it is in your life to gain your favor. You can't picture not having those things in your life. How could they be without them once they exhibited that they love these things so much? Things meaning not things, but these things. You too, your being. All of the things that they exhibited that they have love for, how do they not miss them? Okay, so you can't picture it. So we marvel that they can go on and not miss. But they do go on and not miss, I think. I really do. And mine tells me differently, or it's been a little bit now, but told me differently with extensive detail up to the last time he contacted me. That he misses, and he would list all the things and talk about Minnie still and ask me about my parents and lay it on really thick with all the words out there. But that's the play, isn't it? That's what they do. It doesn't mean that they miss us. He's not missing. He's field testing his bench. We talked about that before. And he'll refer with words, of course, to anything and everything that means the most to me to pull at the heartstrings. I don't think they get attached enough to anything to miss it. I don't think they sit long enough. I don't think they stay in one spot long enough to miss something. And I used to picture him on earth elsewhere, pining away at the thought of the grave loss of me and my fabulous little happy, simple little life. This fabulous doesn't mean you have this or you have things, or I'm not comparing one life to another. I'm happy in my life that I think it's fabulous. That's all that counts. So that's what I'm saying when I say happy, fabulous, quiet, simple little life. So I'm thinking he's out there being like, wow, she really did have we had such a nice little life there. And how could he not miss it when his is especially punctuated against the mess that his still is? But then I quickly readjust, and within 7 seconds, I remembered that he is not missing it, and that he's gallivanting around, distracting himself, and coming upon new ways to fill his day with somebody else's fabulous little simple, quiet little life's treasures, including their personality being a treasure, their dog, their parents, their house. Let me do that for you. Let me do your plants for you. Whatever it is that he's doing, until the next one, and so on and so forth. They don't stop long enough to miss anything, I don't think. Like every time that there's a message, he'll somewhere in the conversation or a string of messages, it was always, I'm thinking of you, and I see Minnie in the clouds. I see Minnie in the clouds. Always seeing Minnie in the clouds. You wouldn't even believe how much I see Minnie in the clouds. We used to lay there on the beach or outside, and look at the clouds. It was Corona. What else are you going to do? We'd be out there all the time. And I always look at the clouds and skies. It's what I do. So we would see different things, and he'd be like, look, it's Minnie. So that's what he's doing. He's pulling on that string when he's leaving me messages. So then the part of you wants to say, how can he not miss it? He mentions it every time. He really did love Minnie. How does he not? I'm using this as one thread of an example, Minnie, but think of your own example and insert it here. they'll keep referring to that. And so you start to think, how can he not miss it? How can he not miss me? How can he not miss this? They don't. They know what to refer to make you think that they miss you in your life together that you had. But I think they just very emptily go through and create new ones, find new ones. But they don't ever feel very connected to it. Like whatever he's doing now, he's not connected to whatever he's experiencing now. Insert another dog, insert another girl, insert another set of parents, you know what I mean? Just change, gear shift, he's on the next person. Insert whatever treasures she finds important, he will play upon those as being important. That'll make her feel like he's really into her. And then if they were apart, she'd be like, how could you not miss this? I mean, it's very common. And then, of course, you always struggle with, why do I even still miss them? That's normal. You had moments. It's nothing more than that. It's not a sign you should call them. It's not anything like that. It's nothing more than you had a glimmer of a memory, and it was pleasant, and so you missed that moment. Let it pass. Please. Okay? But yeah, I think that's very normal to wonder why they don't miss us, and why do they miss us, and don't they miss us, and especially if, like I said, I would miss me. You know, I mean, I think of friendships I had, they've come and gone. I'm 54 now. Friendships have come and gone. And maybe it wasn't a nasty, life just moves on. I miss people. I'd like to think there are people that miss me. I'm a good person is why I say I would miss me. I know where my heart is. I know how I love someone. I know what I give inside when I love someone. Yes, I would miss somebody like that. Of course. Of course I would. And I do. There are people in my life that I miss that are no longer around. Just don't let it twist you up and get you so far down that you can't pop yourself back out of it. And if you are not at the point that you love yourself enough and you love your life enough that you are not happy with it, change it. Change something then. But you should know your worth and your value, and that yes, they should miss you. They should miss us. Of course. We represent everything that they probably wanted. I'm living the life he's chasing. That's what's so funny. Right? Especially when you know that. When you're living the life somebody else is chasing, that's hilarious to me. And they still said no to you. To me, that told me everything. I was like, okay, so you can hand this guy everything. I'm telling you, they want the mess. And I don't know if once in a while it passes through their head and they think, I just don't think so. And like I said, I used to hope and think that they would at least, he would at least maybe think of it. Now I know I don't care, first of all, but I just don't think that they sit still long enough to reflect in order to do that. Right? Because when you do miss someone, it's because you've had a period of reflection and you've paid it proper mind and you've given it some thought and you've boiled it down to whatever happened and you've made peace with, okay, so this person's no longer in your life. But you now recognize the good in it and you miss them. They don't have time for that kind of reflection and work and inner, like looking at it they don't have introspection. That's really some depth. I don't think that they would go through all that. So if you were like particularly funny, maybe they miss you making them laugh. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'd like to think that can happen. Or miss dancing with you if that's something you had in common and you were a real Fred and Ginger out there. I'd like to think maybe that they could like be missing that act of dancing or whatever. So I don't know the extent of what they do or don't miss. But I don't want you to get tripped up in it and sit out there on your porch. I was out there a little bit ago thinking, God, it's gorgeous out. How can he not want to be here? How can he not miss this? I would miss this. That's what led me to do this. Allow yourself to know that your life is fabulous and they're missing out on it. Even if they're not lining up anymore to have it. Oh well, their loss. Live your fabulous, simple, quiet little life any old way. And let them chase what you probably already have right in front of you, within you, within you, which is, I have a very peaceful existence. So I don't like the turmoil and the craziness that he lives. I wouldn't want that life at all. So the Zen that I have and the chi that's in here, when you walk in here, you feel it. Everyone says they can feel it. I live for that feeling. So if you have your life going in the direction that you like, revel in that. And don't worry about what they're doing. They're a mess. Whether they know to miss us or not is not the point. That dysfunction lies within them. It doesn't mean you're not fabulous and all that in a bucket of chicken. It doesn't mean your life's treasures are not fabulous and all that in a bucket of chicken and worthy of being missed. It means their disorder prevents them from getting attached enough to anything to truly miss something. And what an empty existence! Can you imagine how empty? Don't let it trip you up. I just wanted to mention that.